All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it is time to go over the purple Chaos cards in the very first set of Riftbound called Origins. We've already gone over Red Fury, Green Calm, Blue Mind, and Orange Body. Okay, so today we're going over the Chaos runes, and then the next video we will go over the, I believe it's going to be Yellow Order. Okay, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. All right, first up, guys, we have Cemetery Attendant. This is a 3-cost, 3-might Shadow Isles dog unit with, when you play me, return a unit from your trash to your hand. Okay, so it looks like purple might be the color that has to deal with trash interaction. We saw this a little bit before with, I think it was with green or blue, I can't remember, where they can take cards from their trash and recycle them back to the bottom of their deck to help, like, satisfy a condition or pay a cost. But in this case here with Cemetery Attendant, whenever you play this card out, you're going to return a unit from your trash to your hand. So you're going to recur a unit back to your hand to play out later. Very nice. And it's also very well statted. You have to recycle a purple, Chaos rune, but that's really not too bad because you're getting a 3-cost, 3-might unit and getting a card out of your trash as well, potentially. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have the Chaos rune. This is the standard looking one, and this is the alt art version. Both look really, really nice. Okay, next up we have Ember Monk. This is a 4-cost, 4-might Bandle City unit with, when you play a card from Hidden, give me +2 might this turn. Okay, so this is an effect that is buffed by when you play out cards with Hidden. When you play a card from Hidden, give me +2 might this turn. Okay, and that is not a once per turn effect. So, in fact, actually, the more I think about it, though, I think I remember hearing that there can only be one hidden card at a battlefield at a time, at least for each player. So it's I wonder if maybe it's not super relevant, but even just getting the +2 might once per turn could be really, really powerful. And I wonder if we can expect to see more from that theme within purple, where it has a lot of hidden mechanics built in. And then you're going to be able to buff your units from that, which would make a lot of sense, right? Because this is the color of chaos. So, getting stuff from your trash, popping up hidden events, or hidden units or hidden spells to just throw your opponent off. They never know what to expect. That really does embody chaos. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Fight or Flight. This is a 2-cost spell with hidden action speed, and then move a unit from a battlefield to its base. Okay, so right here, you're going to be able to move a unit from a battlefield to its base, and that does not have a, you don't have to recycle anything for this. You just have to pay 2. Now, you can choose to play this card face down, hidden for its, by returning a rune if you want to, instead of paying 2. So it does have that versatility to it. But, just being able to pay 2 at action speed and bounce a unit back to the base, that does seem very solid. Okay, let's keep going. Next up is Gust. This is a 1-cost spell, reaction speed, with return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. Okay, so this can only hit a 3-cost or lower might unit and push it back to the owner's hand. Whereas Fight or Flight, this was now this did cost 1 more than Gust, but Fight or Flight can hit any unit, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. And this is action speed, whereas Gust is reaction speed. But either way, I'm sure you can use this both offensively and defensively, right? Because this is reaction speed, and it can return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. So you can either bounce back one of your opponent's small enough units back to their hand if you want to be able to maybe win a battle at a battlefield, or if you're going to lose at that battlefield, maybe you can bounce your own unit back to your hand. I do like that these have a utility like that. They have versatility, because I think Fight or Flight will work in the same way. But this one's action speed versus reaction speed. Okay, very nice. Let's keep going. Next up, we have Morbid Return. This is a 2-cost spell, action speed. Return a unit from your trash to your hand. Okay, so we have another ability similar to what we just saw with the Cemetery Attendant here. Now, the Cemetery Attendant costs 1 more to play out, and you do have to recycle a Chaos rune when you play it. However, you're getting a 3-cost, 3-might body along with it, right? Whereas this Morbid Return, This is just a 2-cost spell action speed that can return a unit from your trash to your hand. They both have their own uses, right? They both have their own, like, instances and situations where one might be better or worse than the other. But I will say, just having the ability to do this, and it says play on your turn or in showdowns. So this Morbid Return card could be pretty decent to even maybe use on your opponent's turn if you expect to lose a unit in a battle. Maybe you'll be able to get it back, you know, during a showdown or something. We'll have to see on, you know, how that actually will pan out with the timing and everything. But either way, it's good to have these cards like this, and it looks like that's definitely going to be a theme to check out for purple. If you like to play in other TCGs, you know, decks that have trash recursion, this could be the perfect color for you with purple. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Mystic Poro. This is a 2-cost, 2-might Poro unit with Vision. When you play me, look at the top card of your main deck, and you may recycle it. Okay, very nice. This is just one of those little 2-cost utility Poros or whatever they are. This one has Vision, so it looks like purple might have access to Vision as well. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Rebuke. This is a 2-cost. Okay, so this must be pretty powerful, guys. I have not read it yet, but just look at the cost of this card. It costs 2, and you have to recycle 2. Okay, so this is a 2-cost spell, action speed, return a unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. I feel like we just saw this for 2. Let me try to compare this with the one we saw earlier with Gust. Okay, now Gust, now there's 3 of them now actually, right? So we have Rebuke that can return a unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. And then we have Fight or Flight that can move a unit from a battlefield to its base. And then we have Gust that can return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. Okay, very interesting. I will say Rebuke is very strong, pushing a unit to the owner's hand. That means they're going to have to repay the cost of it. Whereas pushing something to a back to base, it might get them out of this fight, but then they can attack in with it maybe on the next turn or something. So this Rebuke card seems very, very strong. The art looks really awesome on this. This is one of those cards that can probably just straight up win you a fight, right? This is probably a 3 of, like a full play set of this card if you're running purple. You do have to recycle 2 runes, which is pretty rough, but at the same time, you're paying 2 and recycling those 2 runes more than likely just to bounce a card off the battlefield to its owner's hand. So if you're playing against any kind of deck, I think we were looking at in the orange cards, in the body cards, they had abilities to cheat characters into play with that gear. Well, if you can just pay 2 and bounce the biggest character back to its owner's hand, this could be very, very powerful. Now, of course, against certain decks, this might not be as good. Against something that might, like, you know, go wide on the board, a bunch of little units everywhere, a card like this isn't as powerful. However, against the decks that go very tall, this card, really awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Ride the Wind. This is a 2-cost spell, action speed, move a friendly unit, and Radiant. Okay, so a lot of movement is going on with purple. Just moving stuff all over the place, pushing things back to hand, and just moving things all over the place. So Ride the Wind is move. It says move a friendly unit and Radiant. So, I mean, and this one costs 2, and it is action speed. Play on your turn or in showdowns. So I think with this card, you can push one of your, so say your opponent attacks into somewhere you're holding, you're defending. If it looks like you're just going to lose that battle and you don't want to lose a really important character there or an important unit there, then if I'm understanding this correctly, you can just pay 2, recycle a rune, and then move your friendly unit back and ready it. The ready part probably won't matter as much unless something goes really wrong at a battlefield where you're attacking into it. Oh, hang on now. I just thought about that. This right here, so, okay, it seems pretty good on defense, like I was just saying, but on offense, maybe it's even better. Maybe you attack in somewhere, okay, and if you have, you know, 2 runes open so that you can use this effect here, use this spell, attack in somewhere, and then once your opponent just dumps their hand and they go all in on defending at that one location, go, okay, I'm going to pay 2 now and just pull my guy back since I'm not going to win this battle anyway, and it says move a friendly unit and ready it. So now I'm going to be able to go over to this other battlefield potentially. Big fan of these combat tricks, guys. A lot of mind games going on here. Big fan of this one. All right, let's keep going. Next up is Psy Scout. This is a 6-cost 5-might Shurima unit with Vision, and you may play me to an open battlefield. Okay, so it's, you know, this I've seen that before in this set review. And that's almost like Rush, right? Or like Accelerate, but in a different way. Excuse me. Because you do have to have an open battlefield to go into with this unit to get that effect. And if there's no open battlefields, you can't really do anything with it. But at the same time, I do really like this, especially how much you might be moving around with a deck that's running purple. This card could be really, really strong. You do lose a little bit of might here. Like, you're paying 6 for only 5 might. But you are getting vision right when you play this card out, and you're going to be able to play this unit potentially straight to a battlefield if there's an open battlefield. All right, so this is a really cool card here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Shipyard Skulker. This is a 3-cost, 3-might Bilgewater Pirate unit with no base effect. This is just a vanilla character here, just a solid vanilla card, and that's kind of one thing. I have mentioned this before, guys, in one of the other color reviews we went over. I would prefer if they had it where your vanilla cards were 1 might more than what their cost was. So, for example, in this case with Shipyard Skulker, it's a 3-cost, 3-might unit. I actually wish that the vanilla cards were 3-cost, 4-might units, or 4-cost, 5-might units, if that makes sense. Because I think that would allow the design team to build things up a little bit better and balance things across the board more. But I'm sure they've already put a lot of time and effort into it, and maybe they've determined that having 3-cost and 3-might for a vanilla body is the way to go. And another thing I mentioned before is it might really depend on not just the cost of a card, but also what color it's in. That could matter as well. Okay, let's keep going. Not much to talk about here. So next up we have Sneaky Deckhand. This is a 3-cost, 2-might Bilgewater Pirate unit with You May Play Me to an open battlefield. Okay, so we saw this already with the card Psy Scout. In this card, this is just a 3-cost, 2-might unit that you can just play right to an open battlefield. I have to say, believe it or not, guys, I actually like Sneaky Deckhand more than I like the Psy Scout because of the cost differential. Think of it like this: if you're going second, you can potentially play out this Sneaky Deckhand right away, right? Whereas Psy Scout, that's on your 6-cost turn or your 6-rune or higher turn. Whereas battlefields might be taken up at that point. Now, that's not to say you can't do tricks and stuff and move stuff around and get an open battlefield in one way or another. But at the same time, this Sneaky Deckhand card seems really good to just play out going second. You'll just get right into an open battlefield. Seems really good. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Stealthy Pursuer. This is a 4-cost, 4-might Shurima unit with when a friendly unit moves from my location, I may be moved with it. Okay, now does this bypass if this card is exhausted? So, for example, let me give an example here. Say I have, so let's just say we went first, right? So we had 2 resources right on turn 1, and say we play out some really cheap 2-cost unit. Okay, now, next turn, we get to 4 resources, right? We get to 4 runes. Well, if I play this card out, it should be rested at home, right? Or at the base. Now, can I choose to attack in with a unit, and this will go with it? Because it says when a friendly unit moves from my location, I may be moved with it. If you can, that'd be kind of interesting. Or even later in the game, it could be interesting as well, right? Because if you have a unit you were building up last turn, and you just want to put a little bit extra power into your next attack into a battlefield, it seems like you could cash in on this with that, if I'm understanding it correctly. As usual, guys, I know I didn't mention this earlier, but if I'm ever off on something, if I mess something up, please help me in the comment section below. I'm still trying to learn quite a bit about this game. Okay, either way, this card seems very solid, and it's a 4-cost, 4-might unit with the ability to move I would imagine this is for that. I think this card can move in that way, guys, because it says when a friendly unit moves from my location, I may be moved with it. Because typically speaking, you can just declare, if you have some units you want to push into one battlefield, you can just move them all there. So I would imagine this card is meant to get around that with this effect, where it's like, okay, I'm rested at home, and I'm going to move a unit to a battlefield, and you can just move this with it. Or maybe it's going to be really good to pair with ganking units. This card seems like it has a lot of potential, if I'm understanding it correctly. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Undercover Agent. This is a 5-cost, 5-might unit, and it doesn't have any types. That's interesting. But it's a 5-cost, 5-might unit, Undercover Agent, with Death Knell, discard 2, then draw 2. Okay, that's really nice. So this Death Knell effect here, so when I die, get the effect, discard 2, then draw 2. Someone pointed out in one of my videos that it's, or maybe it might have been in a live stream I was doing for One Piece. We were talking about Riftbound. Someone was mentioning how it's really nice that it has the discard 2 first, then draw 2, because if you're in the situation where you don't have any cards in hand, okay, well, you're gonna attempt to discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards. So it's almost like it's just a draw 2 if your hand size is at 0. Someone help me out in the comment section below if I misunderstood that, but I think that's how it works. Either way, discard 2, draw 2. This is a really nice cycle effect here. Even if you do have multiple cards in hand, it's still a very good unit, and it's a 5-cost 5-might unit with that death knell effect. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have acceptable losses. This is a 1-cost spell, action speed. Each player kills one of their gear. Okay, so I would imagine if you don't have any gear to kill, but your opponent does, then you're just going to basically pay 1 and force your opponent to sacrifice one of their gears. This seems really good. It's a 1-cost spell as well. So this is a really nice sideboard card where it's like, okay, if I just need an extra answer into a specific kind of deck that runs a lot of gears, I'll just run like 2 or 3 of these in my sideboard. Really nice spell here. Very nice utility, being able to attack something very specific like gears. Each player kills one of their gears. Yeah, that seems really good. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Fading Memories. This is a 4-cost spell with give a unit at a battlefield or a gear temporary. Okay, that's interesting. Hang on a second. Excuse me. So this is a 4-cost spell that has give a unit. Okay, not a friendly unit. I mean, it could be, right? But give a unit at a battlefield or a gear temporary, which means kill it at the start of its controller's beginning phase before scoring. Okay, so if your opponent has a really strong character on the board, or a strong unit on the board, or a gear you can't deal with, you know, maybe you didn't draw into your, what was the card called? Your acceptable losses here. Maybe you'll be able to play this out, give it temporary, and then it'll eventually get dealt with. So that's really cool, guys. I'm a big fan of this this spell here. Purple has a lot of mind games going on, moving units around, doing stuff like this. I'm a big fan. This is really cool. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Pack of Wonders. This is a 2-cost gear with tap, return another friendly gear, unit, or hidden card to its owner's hand. Okay, so you can tap this gear and return another friendly gear, unit, or hidden card to its owner's hand. Okay, so in this case, it says another friendly gear, unit, or hidden card, so I'm assuming that means it cannot return itself. I think that's the idea here, and I don't know why you'd want to return this anyway, right? But this is very interesting. Maybe this is going to be a way to protect units or hidden cards at battlefields you're about to lose, right? Instead of having just flat out lose the card, you can just tap this and return it to the owner's hand. So not really sure about this one. Maybe there's some kind of trick that's involved with this. We'll have to see as we go through the cards. You guys help me out in the comment section below if you know a way to really exploit this and get extra value from it. But I'm not quite seeing it just yet, guys. I don't quite get this one. But return a friendly unit. A friendly gear, unit, or hidden card to its owner's hand. Not too bad. We can just pull stuff back to our hand whenever we need to if we're about to lose it or something, or if we anticipate losing it. Okay, actually, there's one more thing I will say about this I just thought about this. You're returning it to the owner's hand, so if it has an effect that, happens right when it comes into play, then this could be really good at cashing in on extra value from that. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Scraphead. This is a 2-cost gear that has, when this is played, discarded, or killed, draw 1. Okay, so when this is played, discarded, or killed, draw 1. Wow, okay, so this is kind of like a weird way of having a 2-cost draw 1, right? That's what it seems like to me, because if you can pay 2 to play this, okay, you can draw a card. But then if you can in some way kill the gear, you can draw another card. So that's very interesting, very tricky the way that's done. Or if you discard it. So that could have some really strong interactions with some of the red cards we saw before, right? With the discard effects. You can discard this to draw a card. That could be very, very strong. This is a really nice utility gear here. I really like this one. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Stacked Deck. This is a 1-cost spell. action speed that can look at the top 3 cards of your main deck and put one into your hand and recycle the rest. Okay, very nice. I think this is like Ponder in Magic the Gathering, right? So you'll look at your top 3 cards from your main deck. You'll take one into your hand and recycle the rest. And notice it doesn't reveal the card. It just says put one into your hand and then recycle the rest. Very, very nice card here, guys. I like this one. As someone who does really prefer the more technical control style decks or even combo decks, I really love this effect here. Okay, let's keep going. Or this spell, right? Okay, so next up we have the Siren. This is a 2-cost gear with pay 1 and tap. Move a friendly unit at a battlefield to your base. Okay, so you're going to be able to protect your friendly units, and this one does not move it to hand, it moves it to the base. Okay, not too much to talk about here. We've seen a lot of this effect, so we're going to keep going. Next up, we have Traveling Merchant. This is a 2-cost, 2-might Bilgewater unit with, when I move, discard 1, then draw 1. Okay, so, excuse me, with that gear we saw earlier on. Okay, I have to talk more about the gear, guys. We actually have to talk about this Scraphead gear. I actually like this card even more now after thinking about it. This is a 2-cost gear, right? So you can actually play this out on turn 1, whether you're going first or second, and then you're going to be able to draw a card, and then you might be able to cash in on the value of it later on while it's still on the board to draw an additional card. And then think about this, guys. If you're later in the game, you can combo it with a card like Traveling Merchant to discard it to draw a card, and then draw a card with this Traveling Merchant's effect. I really like that interaction there. That was very well made. If that was intended, that was very well made. Excuse me, very well designed. Okay, so this card seems good though, guys, because at the very least, it is a 2-cost, 2-might unit. And get this, guys, if you're going first and you have Traveling Merchant and the Scrap Heap. Was I calling it Scrap Head, guys? I think it's actually called Scrap Heap if I was messing that up. If you get both of these on turn 1, okay, well, you play out Traveling Merchant, trash the Scrap Heap, and now you're drawing 2 from that effect. Yeah, that's really, really nice. And you're filling up your trash as well. Very good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Treasure Trove. This is a 2-cost gear with, when this leaves the board, draw 1 and channel 1 rune Exhausted. Okay, and this has, okay, interesting. It has recycle a purple Chaos rune, tap this, and kill this. And when this leaves the board, draw 1 and channel 1 rune Exhausted. Interesting. So this is like a 2-cost way to draw a card. I'm not sure how much I get this one, guys. Maybe this is meant to cycle out runes or something. Because it says, when this leaves the board, draw 1 and channel 1 rune Exhausted. But you have to return a rune to your, you have to recycle a rune just to use this effect to kill this card. So maybe if you can find a way to remove it from other means, maybe we'll see something else, coming up that you can combo this with. But otherwise, by returning, or, how do you say it, recycling a Chaos rune, you're bringing that back to your rune deck, and then killing this card to channel 1 back, right? And it won't be the same one, because that one, when you recycle it, goes to the bottom of the deck, and you'll take the top card of the rune deck in that case. So it's like, it seems like, oh yeah, I'm channeling a rune. It's like, well, not really, right? Because you had to return a rune just to do the effect of this card. However, you do get to draw a card at least. So it's almost like a fancy cycle card, guys, because you could just pay this out for 2, and then, recycle a rune to kill it, and then draw a new card and channel a rune back. Very strange. Maybe that will make more sense as we go through more of these cards. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Whirlwind. This is a 4-cost spell with starting with the next player. Each player may return a unit to its owner's hand. Okay, starting with the next player, each player may return a unit to its owner's hand. Okay, so I guess you could choose not to return a unit to its owner's hand. Okay, wait a minute. Starting with the next player, each player may return a unit to its owner's hand. Okay, that's interesting. I think maybe this is meant to be more for like 2v2s or 4-player free-for-alls or something like that. Some type of multiplayer game. I wouldn't imagine this being as strong in just a 1v1 unless I'm misunderstanding something. Because I guess at the end of the day, you can just pay forward. They choose not to return any of their units back. And they could bounce one of your units back, but then it gets back to you and you can bounce their unit back. Not really sure what's going on here. Maybe this is better at dealing with the bigger units or something like that. We'll have to see what happens. All right, let's keep going. That one was kind of confusing, guys. Help me out in the comment section below. Okay, next up we have Zaunite Bouncer. This is a 4-cost 2-might Zaun unit with, when you play me, return another unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. Okay, so 4-cost 2-might, and you have to recycle 2 Chaos Runes, and has, when you play me, return another unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. Okay, that's actually very strong, isn't it? I like the name. Zaunite Bouncer, so he's like a bouncer, right? And he's literally bouncing a unit back to the owner's hand. Very clever. But, okay, when you play me, return another unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. So against certain decks, excuse me, against the decks that are trying to play out really, really big units, this is really strong. But against the decks that try to go wide, it's not quite as good, but it's still not terrible either, right? Because they still have to invest the resources to replay these cards. However, if you can play this out and bounce back a really big unit to the owner's hand, that's going to almost work as a time warp for you. But you have to be really careful with this as well if your opponent has a bunch of units that have on-play effects and things like that. Either way, I do really like this card, and I think it's actually properly statted and costed. At first, I was thinking, wait a minute, something's not right here. 4 costs for a 2-might unit and return 2 or recycle 2 runes. That seemed a little bit steep, but you can bounce any unit back, it says. When you play me, return another unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. Seems really good. It just has to be at a battlefield. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Kane Unleashed. This is a 6-cost, 6-might champion unit with ganking, and if I have moved twice this turn, I don't take damage. Okay, that's interesting. All right, and we know purple has a lot of movement effects, so I can see this card probably doing quite a bit of damage, right? If you can move this card around enough, then this card can deal damage all over the place, and it won't take damage. Okay, if I have moved twice this turn, I don't take damage. Interesting. That's very interesting, guys. I wonder if you're going to be able to combo this with one of the cards we saw earlier that can move the... I think there was one we saw that can move the unit back to base. So imagine if you're on a turn where you attack into another battlefield, because because this card has ganking. Actually, maybe you wouldn't have to do that, right? If you just attack into a battlefield. Okay, so there we go. Let's just say we win at that battlefield. And then if we can move this unit back to base and set it as ready with one of the cards we saw earlier and then attack into the next battlefield, we won't take any damage this turn. So that could be really, really interesting. I think we do have to at least look at the card real quick, guys. There was a card. It was this one here, Ride the Wind. This card, it was a 2-cost spell action, play on your turn or in showdowns. Move a friendly unit and ready it. So I can imagine a combo with the card Kane we were just looking at, where let's just say we play the card out for 6, right? We have 6 runes, and then on the next turn, we attack in with this unit. It's moved 1 time now, and let's say if we do win the battle there, we can attack into a battlefield where our opponent has like smaller units, and then afterwards, we can we can use the Ride the Wind card, bring it back to base. Now it's moved twice and attack into their bigger units at maybe the other battlefield or something. That could open up entirely different like strategic lines of play there, where maybe you give up. If you want to make a deck work with Kane, you can just give up the battlefields in the early game and then just go for a double attack, like a double take in the mid game with a card like Kane. That could be very interesting. That could be really, really strong. All right, let's keep going. I do like this card quite a bit. Okay, next up we have Kog'Maw Caustic. This is a 3-cost 1-might unit. Okay, something better be really powerful here, because this is 3 costs for only 1 might, and you have to recycle a Chaos Rune. It has Death Knell, deal 4 to all units at my battlefield. Okay, when I die, get the effect, deal 4 to all units at my battlefield. Okay, we got like kind of like a kamikaze strategy here, right? We'll just send the Kog'Maw in to a battlefield that has lots of units at it, and we're just going to send it in literally just to take out all of our opponent's units there. That's really, really cool. That is actually really cool. Or even if we need to just defend with this card so our opponent can't attack in with a bunch of units, and we can just, be able to, deal 4 damage all around like that. If we're at the, maybe if we're trying to defend for the final battle or something like that, because if, in the situation where if we hold this final battle or this final battlefield, we'll be able to win the game. Okay, well, we'll just put a Kog'Maw right into that battlefield where our units are, and now, okay, sure, go ahead and attack into me. And this card's going to be able to clean everything up, and then maybe we can even win on the crackback. Even if we lose the battlefield, maybe it'll weaken their board enough where we can do a double conquer on the next turn. Very cool card. Very strategic. One thing I'm starting to notice with the purple cards is there's a lot of tricks and a lot of strategy built into all this. Not to say the other colors don't have that as well, but there's a lot of mind games going on with these purple cards, I think. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, we have Maddened Marauder. This is a 5-cost, 4-might Bilgewater Pirate unit with tank, so it must be assigned combat damage first. And then when you play me, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. Okay, when you play me, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. Okay, so if your opponent is holding a battlefield with a really strong unit, you can play out this Madden Marauder, and then, okay, you played it, so move a unit from a battlefield back to its base. That seems very good. That seems really, really good. It will really depend on the matchup and how the board state is, because if you're playing against an opponent who has a bunch of different units at a battlefield, it's not as good, right? But if you're playing against a unit that has really big, a lot of or not a lot, but just like 1 or 2 big units at battlefields, that could help you win the entire battlefield, and you can isolate, or it can help you win the showdown, I should say, and that can help you isolate the targets you need to win those battles. Really cool card here. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Mind Splitter. That's a really crazy looking picture, isn't it? 7 cost, 7 might, a Mount Targon dragon unit with, when you play me, choose an opponent. They reveal their hand, choose a card from it, and they discard that card. Oh man, we got some more hand destruction. We saw this in orange, right, with Sabotage. It was a spell that could, it kind of worked as like duress for the Magic players out there, where you could take a non-unit card and cause your opponent to discard it. But with this Mind Splitter card here, this is a 7 cost, 7 might dragon unit that can look at your opponent's hand, Thoughtseize style, and just get rid of one of their cards. This card, really a big fan of this card, I have to say, guys. 7 cost, 7 might. You do have to recycle 2 purple Chaos runes, but then when you play me, choose an opponent, they reveal their hand, choose a card from it, and they discard that card. I had to reread that like 3 times, guys. This seems really strong. Big fan of this one. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Misfortune Buccaneer. This is a 4 cost, 4 might champion unit with you may play me to an open battlefield, and then friendly units may be played to open battlefields. Okay, so if you have enough movement tricks built into a deck running Misfortune, you'll be able to, maybe sneak these battlefields on them, right? Like, just like with the card we saw. Hang on, I want to see something. You may play me to an open battlefield. Friendly units may be played to open battlefields. So if you can, actually, I was going to say maybe you can combo it with the Maddened Marauder, but at the same time, if you can play this card out and just bounce your opponent's characters back, just play anything to the battlefield. It doesn't have to be something tricky like Madden Marauder. I'm curious to see what people make of this purple color, because it seems like a very frustrating color to play against. A lot of tricks involved. There could be something here, though. We'll have to see how things play out. I haven't gotten enough experience in with the game yet, but I see a lot of potential with all this movement tricks. It could be very good. We'll have to see. All right, let's keep going. Next up is Okay, this is the one we just saw, but this is the alt art for it. Looks really nice. Okay. Next up, we have Nocturne Horrifying, okay? Nocturne the Horrifying here. This is a 4 cost, 4 might unit with ganking, and when you look at cards from the top of your deck and don't draw them and see me, you may play me by recycling a rune. Okay, that's a little confusing. Let's try that one more time. When you look at cards from the top of your deck and don't draw them, and you see me, you may play me by recycling a rune. Okay, so guys, this will be a card, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is a card you'll be able to combo with the spell that we saw earlier, this one here, Stacked Deck. Look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 card into your hand and recycle the rest. Will you be able to use this card here? And when you do your top 3 search, will you be able to reveal, like, hey, here's a Nocturne, I'm going to recycle one of my runes, and then that gets played? If I'm understanding that correctly, that seems really strong, because then you still are going to be able to draw on one of those 2 cards, right, with the Stacked Deck spell, and then the remaining card will go to the bottom. Imagine if you revealed, like, 2 of these, right? I mean, I know that's high rolling for sure, but just imagine the situation where you reveal 2 of them. That could be really crazy. It does come at a cost, though. You're recycling runes to play it out, but still, it seems really good. When you look at cards from the top of your deck and don't draw them and see me, you may play me for 1 rune. Wow, that is really cool. Okay, let's keep going. Y'all tell me if I'm butchering that in the comment section below, but I think I understand it, and it seems like it's really good. Okay, Next up, we have Rasa the Sunderer. Okay, I thought this was Hecarim when I first saw it, you know, looking at these colors and everything. But this is Rasa the Sunderer. This is a 10 cost, 6 might unit. Okay, so right away, I haven't even read the effect yet. I see 10 cost and recycle a purple rune and only 6 might. This better be a pretty powerful effect, right? I cost 1 less for each card in your trash. Okay, yep, I like that. All right, so if we can fill up our trash, I can imagine this in like a red-purple deck that, you know, you just discard as much as you can early on and drop the cost down of this unit. And maybe if you can play this out for like 4 or 5, then I think it will be worth it, especially early enough in the game. But I mean, think about it, guys. Imagine even later in the game if you have maybe 2 of these in your hand and you have like 8 cards in your trash. Well, you're playing out 6 might characters for like 2, right? You're playing out like 6 might characters for only 2 resources. That could be really good. 2 each, of course, but y'all know what I mean, hopefully. I know that was a little clumsy, but hopefully that made sense. This is a cool card. It is a little bit gimmicky, I will say that. We'll have to see how effectively we can fill up our trash, how early. A few things, right? How effectively can we fill up our trash? So, like, you know, we're still staying in the game while filling up our trash. How consistently can we always fill up our trash? You know, by what turn and whatnot. And then how well will these cards do even in the best case situation, right? So, and that's like my biggest concern. I'm sad that they didn't make this a little bit bigger than 6 might. Like maybe if it was even if they made it like a 11 cost that has like 7 or 8 might, I think that would have been even better because it has a higher chance to, you know, have like a high roll type of effect where if you can build enough, you know, discard into your deck, you can cheat out these massive characters and get a really big payoff. Whereas like 6 is, I think 6 might was a very calculated number because I believe it was the blue cards that we saw that had the ability to hit 6 specifically. And if that's the case, it would make me very sad if I cheat out one of these Rasa the Sunderers for like 4 or 5 and my opponent can just deal with it with one quick, you know, effect. But either way, this seems like a card with a lot of potential. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Soul Gorger. This is an 8 cost, 5 might unit, and you do have to recycle 2 runes, 2 chaos runes. But it has, when you play me, you may play a unit from your trash, ignoring its energy cost, but you must still pay its power cost. Okay, here we go. We got a resurrection style effect here. Okay, now this could be a really crazy combo to pull off in maybe like a purple-orange combo deck where you can fill up a bunch of really big units in the trash and then play out this Gorger and even ramp, right, to get this Gorger out because of the orange card you have in your deck. Ramp this out as fast as you can to cheat out those massive cards, those massive units that you put in the trash. I do like this card, and I think there's some potential here. When you play me, you may play a unit from your trash, ignoring its cost. I mean, maybe you don't even have to mix it with orange, by the way. Maybe you could just run this with any other, you know, find some type of, any kind of, whatever the best, you know, big unit you can play is in the game. Find a way to get into your trash, and then cheat it out with this character's ability, this character's effect. Sorry, guys, that's that One Piece talk, this unit's effect. When you play me, you may play a unit from your trash, ignoring its energy cost, but you must still pay its power cost. Seems really strong. I really like this card. All right, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Teemo. Okay, this is a 2 cost, 1 might Bandle City Yordle champion unit, Teemo Scout, with Hidden, and when you play me, give me +3 might this turn. When you play me, give me +3 might this turn. Okay, so is that how Hidden... Does Hidden work in that way, where if you hide it and then it goes face up, that counts as playing the card? Someone help me out on that in the comment section below if that's true. Because if that's the case, and you play this out to a battlefield, your opponent's going to be in for a big surprise, right? Because you return one of your resources, return one of your runes to play this face down, and they go to attack in, and they're thinking, okay, I'm going to win this battle by 1 or 2 might or something, but then you flip this over and you go +4 for the battle, right? Or for the showdown, rather. That could be really, really cool. Okay, let's keep going. Next up, okay, this is the alt art for the Teemo we just saw. Very cool. He's got like a bee costume on or something. Really cool. All right, next up we have the Harrowing. I think it's pronounced the Harrowing. This is a 6 cost spell with play a unit from your trash, ignoring its energy cost. You must still pay its power cost. Okay. We have another resurrection style effect here, similar to the card we just saw. What was that card's name? Soul Gorger. Now, looking at these two cards here, they both have the same effect. However, this is just a spell, so you're not getting a body attached to it. But this is 2 cost cheaper. They both cost 2 runes. You have to recycle 2 chaos runes to play them. But for 2 extra cost, you're going to be able to get a 5 might body attached along with whatever you pulled out from the trash. So I do like both of them, and who knows, in the right deck, maybe you literally play both of them to get as many cards from your trash as possible. But if I had to pick between the two, like if it comes down to like saving space with deck construction and deck building, I think the Soul Gorger is slightly preferable over this Harrowing spell. Not to say this is bad. Not to say this is bad, but if it comes down to like saving space, you know, when it comes to deck building and deck construction, I think I would prioritize the Soul Gorger over the Harrowing because it's only 2 costs more for 5 extra might. Right? That's the way that I see it in my mind. That's the way that I see it. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Tide Turner. This is a 2 cost, 2 might Bilgewater unit with Hidden, and when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit, move me to its location, and it to my original location. Okay, when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit. Okay, so you do have to choose a friendly unit, right? So when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit, move me to its location, and it to my original location. So you're just going to swap places with another friendly unit. Okay, very cool card. This one requires way more context. We'll have to see how the game pans out and how we want to build decks. It's kind of hard to comment on this one. Again, it's more combat tricks. I do really like this card and what's going on here, but I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, especially without repeating myself from all the other combat tricks we talked about earlier. But I do like this card. Seems pretty technical, pretty cool. But you're gonna be able to probably, again, like save your units that might be in trouble. Maybe I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure with this one. Because this is not a spell, this is a unit, but it does have Hidden. And like I was asking about with Teemo, if when you flip a card over, to play with Hidden, if that does count as actually playing the card, it has, when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit, move me to its location, and it to my original location. So maybe you'll be able to swap this out for like a really strong unit that you played on the previous turn or something that's still exhausted in your base. Maybe that's the idea behind this one. Either way, very cool card. There could be some really good tricks to play with this one. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Twisted Fate. This is a 4 cost, 4 might champion unit. Twisted Fate, the Gambler, okay? It has, when I attack... Okay, this is very interesting, by the way, guys. I'm looking down here. There's a lot of different kinds of runes we can return for different effects. Okay, when I attack, reveal the top rune of your deck, then recycle it. Do one of the following based on its domain. Okay, if it's a Fury card, you can deal 2 to an enemy unit here and 1 to all other enemy units here. If it is a Mind rune, you get to draw a card. And if it is an Order rune, stun an enemy unit. Wait, but what if it's a Chaos rune, right? Then nothing happens? When I attack, reveal the top rune of your deck, then recycle it. Do one of the following based on its domain. Fury, deal 2 to an enemy unit here and 1 to all other enemy units here. Mind, draw 1, and then Order, stun an enemy unit. Ah, man. I wish they had made the red one, the Fury rune, I wish they had made that Chaos. That makes me very sad, guys. I'm not going to lie, because what happens if you reveal a Chaos rune? Then just nothing happens? Oh, man. Hopefully I'm misunderstanding this card here. Well, whatever the case is, this is a very cool effect. I do like the randomness of it, because that is very much how the character operated within the actual League of Legends game. I mean, it wasn't random per se. You got to pick whichever card you wanted, but it like came up randomly at first, and then you got to pick from there. Either way, very cool card, very flavorful, but I have one big complaint with this. I wish it at least had the Chaos that it's a part of, right? Because this is a Chaos unit, right? And I wish they had a Chaos option built in, just in case you hit that. Because there's probably a very high likelihood you will hit Chaos every game. Now, you might not, right? You might not hit, you might hit one of these others, but still. Oh, well. Hopefully you all understand what I'm saying. Either way, very cool card. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Invert Timelines. This is a 3-cost spell with each player discards their hand, then draws 4. Okay. Wow. Okay, so for 3, this only costs 3 resources, guys. You do have to recycle a Chaos Rune, but each player will discard their hands and then draw 4. This could be a really, really nice spell to mess up your opponent's hand, first of all, or maybe even to refill your hand. If you need to refill your hand, say you have this 1 card left in your hand. Okay, I'll pay 3, and now each player is going to discard their hand. Oh, I don't have any cards left in my hand, and now I'm going to draw up to 4. And they might have had 3 or 4 cards that they had sculpted over the course of the game, and now those get discarded, and they're going to and then they're going to draw 4 random cards. I like this quite a bit. This seems really, really strong. Okay, let's keep going. All right, next up we have Jinx Rebel. This is a 5-cost, 5-might champion unit with when you discard 1 or more cards, ready me and give me +1 might this turn. Okay, when you discard 1 or more cards, ready me and give me +1 might this turn. Wow, okay. Now, it is a 5-cost, 5-might unit here, but who knows? Maybe, it's like, with some of these, I wish I could get their effects earlier on. Like, if it was just a 4-cost unit, I think that would change my entire entire thought process on this, but who knows? It depends on what all we can combo this with. But being a 5-cost, 5-might unit, that's probably a lot safer for them to build it that way. Because, guys, like, if you think about some of the potential, some of the options, you're going to be able to play this card out for 5, and now it's a 5-might unit on the field. Okay, now when you discard 1 or more cards, ready me and give me +1 might this turn. So you could, you know, it's like theoretically, theoretically, you're going to be able to play this out on like maybe a 7 resource turn. Play this out for 5 with your remaining 2 resources. If you can find some type of effect to combo, with this card that makes you trash a card or discard a card. Well, now you're going to ready this unit. It gets +1 might, and we're going to town with it, right? That seems really, really cool. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, here's the same exact card, but this is like an alternate art for it. Looks really good. Okay, next up we have Possession. This is an 8-cost spell. It's action speed. Play on your turn or in showdowns, okay? And by the way, recycle 3 Chaos Runes. Choose an enemy unit at a battlefield, take control of it, and recall it. So send it to your base. This isn't a move. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I really don't like these kind of effects in TCGs. I'm just being honest. I'm not a big fan of effects like this. However, this is still very strong. It's one of those spells you have to learn to play around or learn to respect. But guys, paying 8 and recycling 3 runes and then getting control of any unit your opponent controls. Choose an enemy unit, as long as it's at a battlefield, right? Choose an enemy unit at a battlefield, take control of it, and recall it. Okay, send it to your base. This isn't a move. So now it's yours, right? Now it's yours until it gets removed. Then it goes to the owner's trash. Really cool, very powerful. Not my favorite effect to see in trading card games. I just don't like when, trading card games nowadays are they're very cautious about using proper keywords like, return something to its owner's hand. It really specifies that now, and so that cards like this can exist. So I understand there's there are necessary precautions to keep cards like this balanced. Just the idea of someone taking my cards, right? Oh man, it gets to me. Okay, really good stuff here. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Seal of Discord, and this is just the purple Chaos rune seal, however you want to say that. Very good stuff here. It's really good at mitigating your recycle costs. Okay, next up we have Yasuo. This is Yasuo Windrider. It is a 5-cost, 4-might champion unit with ganking, and the 3rd time I move in a turn, you score 1 point. Whoa, okay. Okay, so we got a 5-cost, 4-might unit. The 3rd time I move in a turn, you score 1 point. All right, we do have to go back up to all the movement cards real quick. I have to think about some stuff, okay, guys? We got to think about some stuff. Okay, you may play me. No, not this one. Where are they? Rebuke. No, that pushes it to the hand. Okay, Ride the Wind. Okay, and this one's even called Ride the Wind, so that goes perfectly with Yasuo, right? That's kind of like part of his theme there. Move a friendly unit and ready it. Okay, and then let me see what else we have. We have Gust, return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. We don't want to do that, but this fight or flight here, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. That is interesting. That is really interesting, guys. Hang on, I'm trying to think of something right now. Move a unit from a battlefield to its base. All right, someone tell me in the comment section below. Actually, let me go back down to Yasuo. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. I'm not going to give you guys the example because I just thought of it in my mind. I think it'd be fine. I was going to see if you could pull this off on your opponent's turn. That's what I was about to ask. If you had enough movement effects to move something, you know, to a battlefield and back to base into a battlefield, I wonder if you'd be able to get this, you know, to win with this on your opponent's turn. How crazy would that be if you're at 7 victory points and you could somehow move this 3 times on your opponent's turn? Would that be possible, guys? That seems like it'd be really cool. Okay, but guys, this has ganking. It's a 5-cost 4-might unit. The 3rd time I move in a turn, you score 1 point. I could imagine working out some type of combo where maybe you can win in a turn where you have only 5 resources, or excuse me, 5 victory points. Because imagine, so let's just say Yasuo is, you know, in your base. Like, say you played him the previous turn, right? And now you're at 5 victory points, and now, you know, it's your next turn. You stand up Yasuo, and if it doesn't get removed in some way, you could attack into one area, right? Attack into one battlefield and score there. That's moving, right? That moves 1 time, and then you can move this unit back to your base and ready it with what was it called? I think it's called Ride the Wind. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, guys. We got to look. Yeah, Ride the Wind. Move a friendly unit and ready it. Okay, so before that even, you know, finishes, maybe hopefully you can win with whatever units you attacked in with your with your Yasuo. Then you could move and attack into another battlefield, and would that be your 3rd movement? Hang on, let me think about this, guys. So you attack into a battlefield. That's your first move. Pull it back with Ride the Wind, and now ready it. That's your second move, and then attack into the other battlefield. And if you win both of those battlefields somehow, that's like 3 points in 1 turn. I think that would count as like that's almost like an OTK type of situation. That could be really cool, guys. That could be really cool. Okay, y'all tell me if I went crazy there for no reason. If that's not even possible, help me out in the comment section below. Either way, I do like this card, and I'm really loving how purple is with all the movement. Okay, next up we have, okay, and this is the same card we just saw, but the alternate art for it. And look at this, guys. Then we move into the yellow cards, into the order runed cards. Okay, so guys, that's it for purple. Okay, so I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just seeing all these new cards and everything. But now this is like my new favorite color. Because at first when I saw the red cards and I thought, man, these are really cool. I like these quite a bit. Then I saw the green cards. I thought, okay, I like these even more. Then I saw the blue ones. I liked those even more. And then we moved on to orange, same thing. And now we're at purple. But I have to say, I think so far, I know, guys, it's probably sounding old by now, but I think purple might be my favorite color now. We've got movement built in. We have ways to bounce cards. We don't really have ways to... we don't have a lot of ways to... I don't remember a lot of ways to, like, kill units or whatever, like how it's worded in I can't talk, how it's worded in this game, but we can bounce units instead. So purple seems like the color that has a lot of ways to bounce stuff. It has ways to pull things out of your trash to get value from that, like resurrecting units and stuff, taking control of your opponent's units, and just tons of bouncing and movement tricks going on all over the place. And there was quite a bit of ganking, I think, as well. We had Nocturne, we had Kane. We also had Hand Destruction built in, guys. Yeah, purple's really talking to me, guys. It's screaming at me. I think this might be one of the first decks that I really dive into, is some type of purple deck and try to make that work. All right, well, that's it, guys. Let me get a card on for the end here while we're going through the outro. We'll get this Yasuo up because I think there's some potential here. I'm even going to put up the alt art one for it. Well, guys, purple seems like a lot of fun. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Next up, we have the yellow order runes. And then I think after that, I thought it was just going to be a 6-part series, guys. I think it's going to have to be a 7-part series because after we get done with all the order cards, we have to go over all the multicolored cards and the battlefields. Okay, so we got even more content planned than I had originally anticipated. All right, well, that's it for purple, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, peace.